Good morning, Trinity Kids. Happy New Year. I hope you had a Merry Christmas. And we are excited for January. Yay. We have a super fun theme this month where we are going to hear all sorts of stories about rules for life, things that are important. And our bottom line today is share what you have. And we're going to hear a story about sharing, and we're going to hear about responsibility. And responsibility is showing that you can be trusted with what is expected of you. And our story is called Give It Away, Bigger Barns, and it's from Luke chapter 12, verses 16 through 21. And the verse for the month is, suppose you can be trusted with something very little, just something little, then you can also be trusted with something very large. So we're gonna unpack that a little bit this month. There are different things that people expect of us, right? Parents expect certain things, coaches, teachers, all sorts of expectations, things that we need to do, rules we need to follow. And if we can show them we're responsible, they know that they can trust us, right? They know that they can depend on us and that we are trustworthy. That's why it's important for us to have some good rules for life that help us to play well, finish strong, and be who God wants us to be as followers of Christ. So when Jesus was on earth, he went around teaching and performing miracles. As we know, crowds followed him wherever he went, and they listened and watched and asked him questions. One day, a man spoke up and told Jesus about a problem he was having with his brother. Has anybody had a problem with their brother or sister? Maybe cousin, neighbor, friend? Yeah, it happens. And a man said, "Teacher, Jesus, tell my brother to divide up the family property with me." Jesus could tell that the man just wanted more stuff for himself. Has anybody been jealous, maybe at Christmas, for somebody that got more things than you maybe feel like you got, or something bigger or better, or maybe your friend has this, or your brother or sister has this thing that you want. This happened back in our story. So Jesus said, "Friend, who made me a judge or empire between you?" Then he said, "Watch out, be on your guard against people wanting to have more and more things." We kind of live in a society like this sometimes too, right? It's all our TV, our social media, people are always telling us what we need. And sometimes we forget that we have a lot of really great things, and it's not always about the stuff. It's about being together and things we can do together. And sometimes it's easy to lose track of that, especially after the Christmas holidays. In Jesus' story, there was a rich man growing crops on his land. Maybe it was corn, maybe it was soybeans, maybe it was whatever, maybe it was rice, we don't know. And the rich man's land produced a large crop. I'm talking big, huge. And he had many barns to store his crops. But as I said, his land produces large crops. Soon the man didn't have enough room to store all of it. The rich man thought up a plan. Let's see. He said, "This is what I'll do. I'll tear down my barns and I'll build bigger barns for all my crops and all of my corn. And I'll have plenty to store. I'll have an easy life. I'll eat, I'll drink, I'll have a good time." And the man decided to tear the barns he had down, and so that he could build the bigger one and store extra grain. It seemed like the rich man had a pretty sweet setup for himself, but not so fast. Listen to what happened next in the story. So God said to him, "You foolish man, tonight I will take your life away from you, then you will get what you have prepared for yourself." The rich man chose to focus only on what he could keep for himself and not what he could share. And instead, he tried to keep it all. That is how it will be for whoever stores away things for themselves, but is not rich in the sight of God. And so that's what this story is teaching us. In other words, we shouldn't try to keep everything for ourselves and be greedy, or keep everything, store it all so that we just have it to ourselves. But we can choose to live in God's way. Instead, we can be generous and willing to share. And how much better that is for everybody when we share what we have instead of keeping it to ourselves. And so just a reminder, maybe you have a special Christmas present or something that you're really, really loving, but maybe you take that out and you share it with your younger brother or sister, or you choose to play with that and give it in a way that helps somebody else enjoy it as well. And next, we're going to hear our Bible story again in a different way, so that you can really understand what God's teaching us through this story. Have a good day.
Done! Oh, here we go. Hi, I'm Erica. You ever play concentration? Or some people call it memory.
My friends and I play it all the time. I'm the best at it.
The object, if you don't already know the rules, is to find two cards that match. Boom! So, my friends and I have added a rule. Anytime you make a match, you
get candy. Candy, 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 candy.
What can I do? It's a rule, and rules are part of life. Yes! You've got to talk about rules when you're talking about responsibility. Responsibility is showing you can be trusted with what is expected of you. Of course, the rules don't say I have to eat candy every time I get a match. So, usually, I save it for later. This is what I've won so far. I mean, what can I say? I know how to pick them. My friends are like, you're too good at this game. Give us some candy. And I'm like, get your own. I might have a problem. No. Today's story is one that Jesus told about a man who had a little problem with sharing. Who knows what that's like? I'll see you in a bit. Mine.
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how He created us and loves us so much that He made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. Now, for an amazing story, inspired by the book of Luke. Chapter 12, verses 13 through 21.
Everywhere Jesus went, large crowds followed him. Some really wanted to learn and change. Some were just curious. Others, like the religious leaders, listened to Jesus' words so they could trap him with tricky questions. But there were some people who just wanted Jesus to back them up, to tell them that their way was the right way. One of these was a man, we'll call him Ezra.
Teacher! Hey! Teacher!
Ezra's demand was loud enough that everyone stopped talking to look at him.
Are you gonna let me through or what?
Ezra shoved through the crowd, dragging another man behind him, his brother.
Teacher, you've got to tell my brother here that he has to divide the family property with me.
Ezra's brother looked like he wanted to sink straight into the ground. Jesus turned to Ezra.
Friend, who made me judge or umpire between you?
People listen to you. I thought you could, just settle this. Tell my brother I'm right.
Watch out. Be on your guard against wanting to have more and more things. Life is not made up of how much a person has.
That is not what I asked.
Jesus didn't argue with the man. Instead, he told a story, a parable. If he had told this story today, it might sound just a little something like this. There once was a rich man whose field grew a fantastic crop of grain. Perhaps it was corn. His manager brought him the good news.
Sir, we're set to bring in a bumper harvest of cobs and kernels.
Yes! Go me!
Oh, well, your employees did an excellent job of preparing the fields.
Go me!
And there was a lot of sunshine.
Go me!
And just the right amount of rain.
Go me!
Yes, go you.
Harvest the crop at once!
Well, we're working on that. There's just a little problem.
Problem? Who messed up? Fire them at once!
Oh, no. It's a good problem. You don't have enough barn space to store all your grain.
Huh. I'm just too successful. Go me.
Well, I was thinking you could share some of the grain.
Share it?
Well, yes. Some extra bushels for your employees, maybe give some of it away, popcorn for all the kids in town, hold a cornbread festival for everyone.
But it's all mine.
Oh, yes. Yes, it is.
I know. I'll tear down my barns and build bigger ones. Then I can store up all the extra grain for myself.
Oh.
See to it. I want those new barns up by the time the corn harvest is in.
Yes, sir.
The old barns were torn down and brand new, bigger barns were built.
Perfection. Is the corn harvest complete?
Yes, sir. All finished.
Excellent. Have the men store it all in these new barns immediately.
But they're so tired.
I said immediately.
Yes, sir.
At last, the rich man's entire corn crop was stored in his shiny new barns. He settled back in a comfy deck chair and surveyed his property as the sun set.
Go me! Self, you've done pretty well for yourself. You got grain stored away for a lot of years to come.
He popped a gourmet corn chip into his mouth.
Self, take it easy. Eat, drink, and live it up.
You foolish man.
The rich man nearly choked on his chip.
Excuse me?
The rich man looked around, but he could see no one. He was entirely alone.
Oh, great. Is this supposed to be some God moment where I discover what I've been doing wrong?
That's exactly what it was.
You foolish man. Tonight I will take your life away from you. Then who will get what you have prepared for yourself?
Could we come up with a different ending to this story?
But there was no way out for the rich man. He had chosen to focus only on what he could keep for himself. Jesus wrapped up his parable by explaining,
That is how it will be for whoever stores things away for themselves, but is not rich in the sight of God.
We don't know how Ezra responded, but maybe, just maybe, he started worrying less about getting more of his family's stuff. Maybe he started to care a little more about sharing what he did have with his brother.
Jesus told the story of a rich man. He had more than enough food for himself to eat, and he kept it all. Every last grain. Don't misunderstand me. There's nothing wrong with saving. It's good to save your allowance money for that new toy you want. It's good to save candy for later instead of eating it all at once. But saving wasn't the problem with the rich man. No. His problem was his heart. He loved himself and his stuff more than he loved other people. And that's not good, because people are always more important than stuff. You see, I can't say that I'm a follower of Jesus if I'm going to be selfish with the things I have. Those things don't match. It's our responsibility to share with others, and we all have something we can share. Maybe you have time to share, or money, or candy. You're going to have all kinds of chances in your life to share with someone who has less than you. Don't miss your chance. Here's a rule for life to remember today. Share what you have. I've got candy to share next time I see my friends. I've got clothes I don't wear anymore that I could donate. And I've got time if anyone wants to play concentration with me later. Although I warn you, I'm pretty much the best at it. See you next time. I'll save you some candy.